Okay, Peter Ducey live on the North Lawn. Peter, thank you. Let's bring in Oklahoma Republican Congressman Tom Cole. He's the chairman of the Rules Committee. He led support for Speaker McCarthy today on the floor, falling short, of course, and holding off those other Republicans with the 208 Democrats. Mr. Chairman, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
I guess the biggest question is, now what?
I don't think we know yet. That was one of the points I made on the floor, that when you do something like this, and it took 8 Republicans and every Democrat, you don't know what's next. You basically have created a chaotic situation, and now we're going to have to sort through that. We'll have a caucus at 6:45. I would expect we'll probably hear from Speaker McCarthy then, and I suspect what he has to say will have a great deal of influence with the overwhelming majority of people at that conference.
Yeah, so you had a number of Republicans, minus the 8, more than 200, vote for Speaker McCarthy to keep his job. Do you think he's going to run for that job again? January,
I don't
we saw
know.
15 times.
Yeah, the one thing I can tell you about Kevin McCarthy is there's no quit in him. So he'll think through what he thinks is best for the conference and for the country. And I think that will hold an enormous amount of sway with the members of the conference. Again, there's a lot of frustration, a lot of anger, a lot of emotion after something like this. It's probably a time for people to choose their words carefully and keep their options open.
Yeah, you know, this is the first time that this has happened, a speaker being kicked out of that position. There was other efforts to do that back in 2018, then Speaker Paul Ryan. And here is Congressman Matt Gaetz. Take a listen to this.
If we take Paul Ryan off the field right now, instead of being able to finish strong in the 115th Congress, we will shatter into a bunch of factions fighting against each other for power. We got enough of that in Washington already. Paul Ryan can be a caretaker of the speakership. We can have a leadership election. We can go into the midterm strong. And I don't think that pushing him out early, if he doesn't want to go, is in any way advantageous.
It's not one-to-one, obviously, but it's interesting to look back at that time. What do you think happens to your caucus? It's still a slim majority.
It is a slim majority. Well, the one thing I know is there won't be a Democratic speaker in all likelihood. We'll work through this. Again, if Kevin McCarthy were to say that he wants to compete for it again, I don't have any doubt he'll have the votes to do it. There are a lot of our members, honestly, that won't move away from supporting him. They appreciate the fact that he created this majority, and we think he ran it very, very effectively. People are going to wait to hear what he has to say before they make any other decisions. And emotionally, a lot of them are going to want to rally around him, appropriately so, in my view.
Well, if he doesn't run again, I heard you introduce everyone speaking on his behalf as my dear friend or my good friend. Could it be you?
It absolutely will not be me. I think, honestly, I want to hear what the speaker has to say. That will influence whatever I do, but I don't have any plans under any circumstances of running for speaker.
Last thing, I asked Congresswoman Mace about the thought process of the politics at the moment. She said it's time for change and that the caucus can unify around one leader. But Democrats clearly are going to use this as a campaign issue and say there's just chaos in the Republican leadership. How do you fight that?
Well, there's a long way between now and the next election, so this thing will be sorted out well ahead of that. But no question, look, Kevin McCarthy is our best political strategist. He's our best fundraiser, and he's our best candidate recruiter. He's the ideal guy for the job. He created the majority. And again, there's going to be a great deal of support and affection for him, and honestly, a great deal of trust in the advice that he offers the rest of us.
But last thing, there is this anti-establishment kind of fervor out there. A lot of people have tapped into it, including the former president. How do you read that from your spot?
Well, again, I don't have any problem with people being, quote, anti-establishment if it's directed at Washington in general. But you got to be smart about it. It's not enough just to be angry. I look at this majority. It's past 70% of the budget already, something the Democrats did not do in either of the last 2 years at this point in the calendar. It has plans laid out to continue to move the budget. We've had a lot of other successes. People do have to realize we're dealing in divided government. We have a Democratic Senate, a Democratic president, a very narrow majority in the House. So unity is the key to being successful, and sadly we didn't achieve the unity we needed today.
Congressman Tom Cole, chairman of the Rules Committee, we appreciate your time.
Thank you, Brett.
Up next.